Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. And once again this week we're doing two of these podcasts. This one will be exclusively on the 4 stakes races at Kentucky Downs. And we'll have a second one looking at 2 stakes up in New York and one at Churchill. Tom Leach along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman. And Jim will start with the 7th race at Kentucky Downs, the More Than Ready Mile, at a mile on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. And who did you land on?
Just a little $200,000 race. Kentucky Downs has got great racing on Saturday. We did a
horses.
lot of handle on Wednesday with them. They quadrupled their handle from last year here at Keeneland. So you can make some money at Kentucky Downs on Saturday. I just want to get that plug in there before I get my picks. The race is named the More Than Ready Mile. And there's a horse in here named Regally Ready who's out of More Than Ready. How can I pick against him?
I thought the same thing.
I mean, it's not that they wrote the race for him, but obviously it would be pretty cool to win the race. Binary owns Regally Ready and Asmussen trains, and I am going to pick Regally Ready. I think it's Rosie won 4 on Wednesday down there. She's really riding well. She won a couple horses I didn't think she could win on. This horse has won 14 races lifetime, 11 races on the turf. I think he presses the speed and dominates through the lane. So I'm going to take Regally Ready on top. The mile should suit him perfectly. Saturday Launch is a horse that I was interested in on the outside of the 8-hole and ran great here last year. One of his best races was at Kentucky Downs. I really like any given Saturdays on the turf, and I think that even though he's moving up in class a lot, I think that he's got a real shot. So Saturday Launch is my second choice, and my third choice would be Serendip to come out Prairie Meadows. And that's kind of a strange angle, but has won 2 in a row, won by 3 lengths at Churchill last out. So I'm going to take Regally Ready on top of Saturday Launch and Serendip with all in this race. There's only 9 horses, so it won't be too expensive a ticket.
Regally Ready for me as well. I thought the last race in the slop, he was really sharp, 108 buyer, and ran well here at Kentucky Downs last fall, which doesn't hurt. So I couldn't find any reason to go elsewhere on this one. So Regally Ready for me, and I'm going to use Powerfoot, the 1 and 6, the Tattenham, with him. I didn't really have a strong opinion on who to use with him. I kind of like Regally Ready a lot, but was really a little bit of a loss elsewhere for me. The 8th race is the Kentucky Downs Ladies Sprint. And here, I ended up going to Sky Treasure. The last 2 for, this is 3-year-old fillies, 3-year-old and up fillies and mares going 6.5 on the turf. And her last 2 seem to suggest that she's moved it to a higher level. The pedigree says she can go longer, so I think that helps the fitness that you need for this course. So I'm going to try Sky Treasure in here, use her with the 4 Eden Prairie, the 6 Corporate Culture, and the 1 Kiama. Eden Prairie's a horse that's got a lot of back class, but Sky Treasure, number 3, the pick for me. What about you?
I like Sky Treasure a lot. I like Mark Cassey shipping in horses, and the Woodbine horses should run well here. But I went with Key, the 10 horse. She just missed at Saratoga back in the Smart and Fancy, $100,000 race at 5.5 furlongs, and was flying down at the end and was way wide. So I'm going to think Key might take to this course, and it might set up well for her closing kick at 6.5 furlongs. I'm going to take Sky Treasure below her, the 3 horse, and I'm also going to use 1, the Kiama. Came out of the same race as Key at Saratoga and only got beat by 3/4. So I'm going to take the 2 Saratoga horses and key them with Sky Treasure for the trifecta.
9th race is a graded race, the Grade 3 Kentucky Cup Turf. 3-year-olds and up at 1.5 miles on that turf course. And you got some pretty good bunch, I thought, in here. Where did you go in the Turf Cup?
I think it's a nice race. It's a $600,000 race, and I am undecided between the top 2, and I'm going to look at the odds before I choose. But I am leaning slightly toward War Dancer, the 3. But he and Oprado Olay both exit the Grade 1 Sword Dancer at Saratoga. If Oprado Olay doesn't get a lot of play on the tote board, I may take him, because if you go back a couple races, he ran just behind the Pizza Man, who came back and won the St. Ledger at Arlington, his next out. So I think those 2 horses kind of not tower over the rest of them, but I think they're the best 2 horses in the race, and I'm gonna play them first and second. I'm gonna play Sun Tracer behind them. Sun Tracer is a class horse. He hasn't won since 2012, and he's going to get a lot of play just because of his buyers are always consistent, 92, 99, 97, and the Stars and Stripes. Almost beat the Pizza Man and almost beat Oprado Olay, but he just never gets there. And so I'm going to key him below, hoping he gets in the money. And at a mile and a half, I think he will. But War Dancer and Oprado Olay are my kind of twin choices here.
I'm going to take a little bit of a swing here for the 2, Pyrite Mountain. This horse kept some pretty good company last year, only beaten 3 lengths at a mile and a half to Up With the Birds up in Canada, and goes to the Pletcher barn this year, and coming off a long layoff, had 2 starts in 2 other than allowance company, ran 2 winning races and got beat on the wire both times. I think this is kind of a bold move by Pletcher that to me suggests there's some confidence there on his best day. I think this horse, it's not as much of a class jump as it looks. And he's 4 years old, so there's still some upside perhaps left. So for all those reasons, at 8-1 on the morning line, mainly, I'm going to try Pyrite Mountain. And then I would use him with War Dancer, Oprado Olay, the 7 Tricky Hat for Shug, and the 4 Holiday Star. So if I'm right on Pyrite Mountain, I want to be have several shots in the exacta because I think Pyrite Mountain, you're going to get a decent price. 10th race, Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. And I ended up going for a bit of a price in here, too. Fillies and Mares 3 and up at a mile. The 5-horse, Kiss Moon, is 8-1. I don't know if you'll get that, but impressive win last time. And she's an improving 3-year-old that seems to be at her best on the grass. And because she's facing a little more accomplished horses, you might get a decent price here. I'm Already Sexy. I got to use the 3, Ms. Ida, the 2, Rosie is Cozy. But I'm going to key off the 5, Kiss Moon, in the Ladies Turf, the 10th race. How about you?
I'm going to key off I'm Already Sexy. I heard that, and it's amazing. I printed these PPs out on Wednesday, and I already had the work in there. And she worked here at Keeneland in 46-2. And I heard a couple of clockers say that it was the best work that they've seen on the new dirt track here at Keeneland.
Wow.
So she's, knocking down the barn, ready to run. And she didn't disgrace herself at all in Beverly D. Got beat by 2.5. Some really nice fillies and mares, and won the Modesty 2 back. So I'm going to take I'm Already Sexy, hoping that she was kind of giving us a signal that with that great work on Wednesday that she's ready to run. You never know how they'll take the Kentucky Downs track. It's so undulating, but she got a lot of back class, and I think she's got a real shot in here. So I'm going to key her on top with one of the horses that Ms. Ida, one of the horses that you mentioned. Rosie is Cozy. Kiss Moon is obviously has a shot, and Honey Hughes is dangerous. I don't know that she can carry the lead wire to wire down there like she did at Churchill for a couple races, but if she does get an easy lead, she may be tough to run down. So I'm going to use I'm Already Sexy, the 8, on top of Ms. Ida, the 3, Honey Hughes, the 10, Rosie is Cozy, the 2, and Kiss Moon, I guess, the 5.
So that's the lineup at Kentucky Downs. 4 stakes races on Saturday. Big full fields down there. And just a very short meet, so you're running out of opportunities to play down at Kentucky Downs. Low takeout, too, so take advantage of that with your wagers at KeenelandSelect.com or at Keeneland Simulcasting. Remember, we're going to do a separate podcast on the stake at Churchill and also the 2 in New York. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money podcast at KeenelandSelect.com.